Council of the City of LaGrange. We will begin with an invocation to be offered by Dr. W.T. Edmondson, to be followed by the pledge. Please stand.
May we pray? Oh, Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings tonight upon this group of believers tonight. We ask your blessings to fall fresh upon this council. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you would be with us and give us wisdom and knowledge to help govern this city. Not only this city, Heavenly Father, we're praying for all the officials and the nation and our state and our local governments. God, we're asking that you would continue to be with us. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council members have all been given a copy of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on December 8th. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. That passes unanimously. We have two public hearings tonight. The first is to receive comments on a request to exempt restaurants and special event centers within the C2 and C3 districts from durational restrictions for portable concession stands and to modify durational restrictions for all portable concession stands. Ms. Kelsey.
Mr. Mayor, Council, the public hearing has been properly advertised. At this point, we would take any comments from the public.
Is there anyone in council chambers who would like to speak to this matter regarding the portable concession stands? Okay, seeing none, I will declare that public hearing closed. And we will move on to receive, the second public hearing is to receive comments on a request to remove window area restrictions for vacant buildings within the C2 district.
Again, Mr. Mayor, the public hearing was properly advertised, and we take any comments on this request.
Is there anybody in council chambers who would like to speak to the request regarding window area restrictions? Seeing none, I will declare that public hearing closed, and we will move on to delegations. We're here tonight to receive a delegation from Haley Ward, our intern. So, Ms. Ward, the floor is yours.
I'm going to introduce you to Haley Ward. You can come up, I guess, 6 feet. She is our City of LaGrange intern, and she is a senior at Troop High School. She's extremely impressive, too. We have thoroughly enjoyed having Haley with the City of LaGrange. As part of her internship, she shadowed many of our department heads, and this was something that she had asked to do, to learn more about local government and receive great, and every single person she shadowed, we received great feedback about her. And she's going to be telling you her experience with the city, what she learned, and I'm very proud to introduce to you Haley Ward.
Thank you, Miss Katie. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to come here today.
Pause. Go ahead and take your mask down.
Okay. Is that better? There we go. Okay. My name is Haley Ward, and I am a senior at Troop High School. This fall, I was graciously allowed to intern at the City of LaGrange for a period of 6 weeks. Now, you're probably wondering how exactly this opportunity came to be, so I'll explain it with a quote from Henry Ford. He once said, "Failure is simply an opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." I want to say that again because I really love that quote. Failure is an opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Coming back from studying abroad for 7 months in the Philippines, I knew I wasn't going to let my senior year be plagued by senioritis. And for those who don't know, senioritis is the feeling of seniors when they become more excited about leaving school than actually finishing. So one day, as I was scrolling through Facebook, I saw a post about the opportunity to join the city's youth council. Being the curious student that I am, I immediately knew I wanted to submit an application. However, I shortly found out that I didn't qualify for the program because I didn't live in the city. And then I found out the city of LaGrange was divided into a city and a county. I would like to say that was definitely a moment of learning to start again more intelligently. Thankfully, Miss Katie still reached out to me in regards to doing an internship with the city. I remember her asking about my interests and explaining how they would tailor the internship to my interest. My mind immediately went blank, as I am definitely the type of person who could quite literally spend a lifetime trying new things. But that's exactly what we did. Over the course of 6 weeks, I got to know more about the city of LaGrange than I probably have in my 18 years of living here. I was able to learn about some of the exciting new projects, parks, and development with Ms. Meg and Mr. Bill. I learned about the life of scheduling exciting events with Ms. Katie. I learned about the different technological components that are run through the city with Mr. Allen. I learned about the fire department and its training facilities with Ms. Moon. I learned about the process of water cleansing with Mr. Patrick. I learned about new and exciting plans for the thread with Miss Natalie. I learned what to do in an active shooter drill with the LPD. I learned about the life of a police officer as I did a ride-along with one of the LPD officers. I learned about promoting LaGrange, tourism, and hotels with Miss Kathy. And I finished it all with Mr. Alton in learning about the LGTV filming process and even being able to be featured on city scenes. I thoroughly enjoyed being able to learn about the different workings that make LaGrange LaGrange. However, I think my favorite part was getting to know a little bit more about myself along the way. As I expressed my ambition to apply for West Point Military Academy, Mr. Allen gave me the idea to join a club at school that would help me improve my chances of acceptance. Miss Moon at the fire department was very inspirational, as I plan on going into a male-dominated academic path, and that's what she does every day. Being able to work on city scenes helped me step out of my comfort zone and gave me the opportunity to fulfill a childhood dream of being on TV. So not only did this internship give me an opportunity to learn more about the city I've grown up in, but it also helped me learn more about myself and what I want to do in life. I know it takes every one of you to be able to run this city and all the wonderful things within it, and for that I want to say thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Ward, for your presentation. Thank you for your service to the city. I've heard from several members of our staff what a great pleasure it's been for them to work with you, and appreciate all that you have done for us during this period of time, and glad that you were able to find a way to plug in and learn more about the city. So appreciate all of that. We also tonight have under delegations, we have Judge Jeanette Little, and I believe Chief Deckmar wants to make a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I do that, I want to thank the mayor and council for the stipend that they provided the employees for COVID. We currently have, I think, almost a dozen out for COVID.
Wow.
And those that have not gotten it or that are over it have stepped up consistently to make sure that the various divisions and units are covered. But we appreciate the fact that the city, particularly through its elected officials, have recognized that. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Judge Little, will you please come up. Judge Little is going to be retiring, and we were unable to make it to her retirement, and she's been involved in so many initiatives with the city and the police department and the college that I just felt like we needed to do something to recognize her commitment. Back, 15 years ago, maybe 20, when Project Love was closed, Judge Little was very instrumental in working with the group, along with Dr. Gore's wife, Selma, to reestablish a domestic violence shelter. We handle somewhere between 400 and 500 incidents of domestic violence a year. And what's critical is being able to have somewhere that primarily women and children can go while that situation is sorted out. We were having to make arrangements for them to go to Carrollton, which displaces the children as it relates to school, no support for the spouse. And it didn't take us long to recognize we needed to do something different. And Judge Little was there lockstep with us throughout that process. And as a result, we have Harmony House, which is recognized around the state as one of the top domestic violence shelters in the region. Additionally, when we were working on the acknowledgement and apology, representing the courts, Judge Little was first to step up and participate and help plan and involve all aspects of the community in that initiative. Numerous engagements, I'll name just a few. All of these courts, the specialized courts, drug court, DUI court, mental health court, and most recently we've been working with her on a veterans court, look to tailor the sentence of that individual in a way that emphasizes treatment as opposed to punitive sanctions. Those sanctions are held at bay and frequently are a motivator for them to participate successfully in these programs. But Judge Little's, I think, compassion, willingness to try something different, and always looking for alternative sentences that will solve the problem rather than complicate someone's life. And I can tell you as police chief, she's been a great source of guidance and friendship. And on behalf of the police department, Judge, I'd just like to recognize you with this small plaque. And it says, "With our deepest appreciation, Judge Jeanette Little, in recognition of your passion, unconditional commitment, and enduring dedication of service to the citizens of LaGrange. LaGrange Police Department owes you a debt of gratitude."
I don't have a speech. I'm embarrassed to go at it. This is a bright young lady. I've got to get to know your daughter. Very impressed with that.
Yeah.
He just told me to come over, so I came over. This is very nice. I appreciate this so much. I have loved being able to serve Troup County and LaGrange over the last 40 years. My heart's breaking a little bit as I walk away from it now. My walls are empty over there. I had my last arraignment yesterday. Jim at least knows me well, and Jeff knows what I'm talking about with my last arraignment. We had drug court today and have it in the morning, and it's going to be hard because we live in the best place in anywhere. We've got a police chief who I think the world of. Where did he disappear to? Yeah. We've got a sheriff's department that I trust and admire. We have just been lucky. When you look around at other jurisdictions, other places, we're incredibly lucky. We have got good people governing in our area, and it has been a blessing to be able to work here. I don't have to deal with a lot of the things that other places do. When there's a good idea, somebody picks it up and runs with it, and that has been wonderful. So I will miss it. I'm not going anywhere. I will still continue to live where I've lived for 66 years, and my family has lived for 71 years. So I will continue in this community, and hopefully we'll still be able to do some good in some areas. Thank you so much. This means a lot.
Judge Little,
Thank you.
Judge Little, you have been such an amazing asset to Troup County for 66 years, but particularly, as you say, for the 40 plus that you've been practicing attorney and judge. 41 years sitting on the bench, I think is right, isn't it? From the small claims court, magistrate court, state court.
Yeah.
Since
Since fall of 79, whatever that is.
Fall of 79. So that is to fall of 2020. I think that's 41 years. So it's an amazing record of service. So you're not done serving our community, but it has been an amazing record. And you truly are a product of our community. LaGrange High School, of course, graduate, and then LaGrange College and Mercer Law School. But you've been a leader throughout your entire career. Obviously having graduated top of your class in law school, but deciding to come back to LaGrange to practice, and being one of the first female attorneys, maybe the first in the community to be in the private practice of law, and then to become a judge, and then on the bench you have been a statewide leader through the accountability courts and through some of the domestic violence initiatives that Chief recognized. So our community owes you a tremendous debt of gratitude. And so as mayor and on behalf of the citizens of LaGrange, I appreciate all that you have done over the course of your career. And I know that you will continue, as you say, to serve, because this is home for all of us. And we all love this place, and we know we can always make it better. And you've been a big part of making it better over the course of your career. So thank you.
Thank you so much for those kind words.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can I make a suggestion? I got a lot of people bunched up over here.
Yeah, if we could maybe, if you're a family unit that lives together, that's fine. But if you're not a family unit living together, we would like to maintain 6-foot separation, so we have some spacing to disperse. And potentially we can maybe ask Alton if you wanted to come forward to the front row and maybe free up some space on the bench.
And the media, you guys can take the front row.
Yeah, trying to be
Just trying to free up
trying to
some
be
space
safe if
over here.
you need to
So everybody can
disperse.
spread out if you don't mind.
Thank you, Councilman Gaskin. We will continue under delegations with Mr. Kwesi Dowell.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I come to you all today about a situation that I went through in the city, and I just, for some reason, it just bothers me. It's houses being tore down in our community when we got homeless women and kids. And then instead of us fixing the houses, we're tearing the houses down, charging the homeowner, putting the lien on the homeowner for the houses. So that confused me a little bit. Why not put the lien on the house, fix the house, and charge the homeowner to fix the house? Because we have a homeless situation. Daily I house homeless people. I pay their rent, we pay their light bill, and it's getting kind of out of hand when we got the city coming around tearing the houses down when it's supposed to be the object of the whole game is to have somewhere for homeless people to stay and for the people in our community to have somewhere to stay. And if anyone want to ride with me, I can go show you numerous of homeless people that needs a house. And I get phone calls every day because now I'm in a position where I'm a manager at this rental thing with Mr. Merriweather. And we don't have a house to put them at because every time we start putting them in the house, the city want to tear the house down. We just had an issue like where we went to a court hearing and we asked the judge, could we just have 90 more days to finish the house? The house was perfectly ready to be fixed. We just had to pull a permit. And I'm trying to see, can we start building the community instead of tearing it down? I mean, because if we're going to tear down the house, where everybody going to go? And I'm talking about the poor people because it's happening in the poor community because 9 times out of 10, the homeowner don't have it to fix the houses up. So if we're going to put a lien on it for the homeowner anyway, he got to pay for it. Why not pay for it to be fixed? I mean, I'm just asking because it kind of touched me.
Yeah, I appreciate the question and appreciate your concern. The council has spent a lot of time talking about the problem with dilapidated housing and the need for housing to be brought up in the community. The problem is that the Georgia Constitution prohibits the city from spending any money on private property. So the city of LaGrange has no authority to go onto private property and do any improvements. So that's not an available option. The option is to require the homeowner to bring the property up to code. And if the homeowner doesn't do so, then the city staff takes it to court to enforce. And the only provision that the city has available to it is to actually do an unsafe structure case through the city court. And so that's the only option that's available to the city itself. Now, there are nonprofits in the community. There are other organizations that you might reach out to. Certainly the Housing Authority, DASH, other organizations in the community do work in housing, but that's not the city of LaGrange itself. And the city itself is prohibited from spending money on private property.
And I understand that, Mayor. What I'm trying to say is if we can spend money, first of all, going through Housing Authority, they go through the biggest screening in America before the people are almost dead or being frostbitten before they can even get into an apartment. And then second of all, the city also has gave the Housing Authority millions of dollars to house these people, and people are being slow to being housed in the community.
Yeah, the city doesn't give any money to the Housing Authority. The Housing Authority all receives federal money. They don't receive money from the city, just to clarify that for the record.
So what are we going to do about helping the people in the community that don't have anywhere to live? And we're tearing down houses and one person determines that this house need to be tore down, because I asked him about one particular house, and he told me because it had trash in it and it was nasty, that he's gonna demo the house. The man died and left the house. And then during this part of when we did pull the permit on these houses, Mr. Mayweather came into a heart attack and he couldn't finish the houses. Then we had COVID, so we couldn't finish the houses. So what we did is we came back when we was able to come back and finish the houses. We asked the city, could we do it? And they had a private meeting saying that we had wrote a letter, and they had a private meeting and saying that they was gonna get back with me. I know they never got back with us. What they did was it got with our employees, the people that we had inside of working there, saying that they was gonna tear the house down. So immediately what I done was is I went to the city attorney and I asked the city attorney for some help and Mr. Gaskin, so that we can have some help on, cause we can save these houses, because I have a lot of women and kids who are homeless. And DFACs are getting involved by taking their kids because they're homeless, when we got houses that's standing up that we can fix and put people in them.
Well, we're all for fixing up houses. We always encourage homeowners and landlords and tenants to work on improving the quality of the housing. And the direction that the mayor and council have given this to the staff is to always try and work with homeowners to the extent they can. But at the end of the day, the process for an unsafe structure is very clearly defined. The mayor and the city council don't get involved with that at all. We don't even know it's happening. It's all handled through the city court, and if the city court judge makes a finding that the property needs to be taken down, the city court judge will normally give some time to remediate it, and if that doesn't happen, then enters the order. And if someone has a concern about the city court, the appeal is not to us. The appeal is actually to Superior Court. That's where the appeal lies. If somebody is unhappy with the decision that the city court judge has entered, the appropriate appellate process is to petition the Superior Court.
Okay, but Bell, do you agree with me on this homeless issue?
I think we have a homeless issue, and I think we have dozens of organizations in this community working on the homeless issue. We have a homelessness council that meets once a month, that works and brings all of those resources together to the table, and the mayor and council have supported that those homelessness initiatives, the warming center, some of the organizations. So absolutely we have that. We also have a problem in the community with substandard housing. All you have to do is ride around and see that there's lots of substandard housing, and that's a problem too. So they're both issues, and we have in place a great staff that addresses those issues, and then if there's issues that have to go to court, then there's a court process for it. The mayor and council don't get involved in those directly.
I really asked like the supervisor, and I also asked the dude, let's walk through these houses, because when I seen the houses from the outside, I said, yeah, these router trout need to be tore down. But then when I went inside, the walls, the floors, the roof was almost better than my house. And you saying tearing them down, and it seems like because it's some vandal type, like I can tear this house down because only one person decide if this house being tore down before it goes to the judge. And after we went to the judge, man, him and the judge out here high-fiving about tearing the houses down. After we got people out here, women and kids, who are really need housing. I mean, we really need somebody to house these. It's cold outside, and they people losing their kids because of, not because they're unfit parents or anything. It's because we don't have any housing. And if we tear down all the houses, where they gonna sleep at? On the property?
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing the concern.
This mayor and this council member, and as well the other council members, we recognize the plight of the homeless population. And I recognize your frustration. I think moving forward, we need more cohesiveness between a lot of these entities that are out here trying to help in the housing situation. I work with an organization called Groundswell. They are in the process of weatherizing structures that are substandard. There's Dash. There's a couple of other ones out there as well. And I look for more aggressive approach from a lot of the nonprofit organizations because there is a shortage of housing.
Yes, sir.
There's just not enough, it's like musical chairs. There's not enough chairs. And
That's
there's a lot
right.
of people standing up.
That's right.
So we're doing what we can through the rezoning with the additional houses that, what do you call them? Where you can add another house to your lot. What do you call that again?
Duplex.
Or a garage apartment, high density.
High density.
High
You
density.
know, with the modification through our zoning ordinance to add high density to the city limits, that we're trying everything we can.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
and as the mayor said, we just don't have the authority to build.
Got you.
But a lot of these nonprofits, they do, and I look forward to them being more aggressive and working with somebody like yourself.
Yes,
Um, So, again, I hear your concerns.
I also echo his concerns because we do need more housing. But we partnered with Dash. And Dash has done a lot of building homes and refurbishing homes. The problem that we were having was slumlords. Slumlords people were paying rent, and the houses that they were living in was deplorable. Children, no one should be living like that. So we red flag houses.
Gotcha.
We came up with something to red flag those houses so that people will not live in deplorable conditions. And that has caused some problems with some others because, we just don't want people living like that. And so the Housing Authority is a wonderful, I use that word wonderful, entity for people to go there temporarily, and Ms. Jaja Hurd has done an excellent job of transitioning people into some great houses, into some apartments. And she's trying to do the very best she can, but it's so overwhelming.
Okay, because I was going to say, Dr. Elmerson, I have sent over 15 people over there with women and kids because they are homeless. I'm talking about women and kids, and they turned them around.
Well, there's just so many people that she can house, and then there are stipulations as well.
And I
that she has
understand
to
that,
go
so that's
through.
why I'm coming to the council on saying, is there any type of way that we can start trying to build with the personal homeowner, the private? Can we get them, like if we can get some type of them signing some type of contract or anything for the city to help them, because we need housing.
As Brother Gaskin was saying, the initiative that he was talking about, those people along with Dash, those we can probably work with them.
Okay.
and probably find houses and things for them to live in. But it's not going to solve all the problems. You're still going to have some problems, but we have warming centers. We have things of that nature that the chief, they put together so people don't have to be out in the cold. And
I do understand the warming center, but we need to start having transitional centers. Someone that when we get in there, they can get in there and start getting their job and build their money up, and then transition into their own homes and start buying homes. And when they start building, when LaGrange start building more homes, we need to start putting them in those homes. So we need to have a transition center so that people can sit in there and they can go to work and come home and then save their money in some type of way, and then buy them own homes and stretch out to that.
I totally
because you
agree.
got to have a footstep to get up before you can crawl.
And
So,
that's what Dash was created for.
well,
Dash was created for getting people into a rental home and then transitioning them into their own home.
Yeah, that's
So-
what we need more of. Now, if we keep tearing the houses down, where they gonna go? Where home they going into? For real, where they going?
Yeah, we can't have people living in unsafe structures.
I
though.
understand
That's-
that.
that's
I
not-
totally
yeah.
agree
Yeah.
with fictionally, but Mayor, I was putting this on everything I love, and I asked, and he'll tell you, we was gonna fix those houses. Those houses was gonna be fixed better than as you ever seen in LaGrange, cause I was gonna put my stamp on those houses, and I came to Mr. Gaskin the same way. I mean, those houses don't deserve to be tore down because we got some little calculated attitude.
So I just want to clarify my involvement with the situation.
Yes.
The legal proceedings against these houses started when, Mr. Todd?
The first court hearing and order was in September, and an informal request for the house to be fixed up was in January, and that's both of 2019.
Okay, 2019. Here we are getting ready to be 2021.
Yes,
When
sir.
did you come to me about this situation?
Hold on. I became manager 6 months. Now,
Exactly.
but
Stop right there.
let me
No,
stop.
no, put a pin in it. Put a pin in it.
Mm-hmm.
You were late to the dance. Now, I don't know who let you on the dance floor, but the person who let you on the dance floor 6 months ago bears a lot of responsibility, because this should have been taken up before it reached a legal standing, before it was even at that point.
Brother Gaskin, the man is 70 years old. He got health issues. So he had a heart attack during the time, so he couldn't receive it. And plus, the city was sending mail to the wrong address.
I totally understand all the factors. I'm letting you know where I stand on this.
Yes, sir.
Time is of the essence.
I can
Time
understand
is
that.
of the essence.
But we still have a homeless problem with houses.
No
That
doubt.
we need to fill those houses with these homeless women and kids. I don't care about the men, because I feel like
You keep saying over and over and over these women and kids. Where are these daddies at?
well, come on now, Mark. We know good and well most of them not there. I had a girl with 6 kids, and she had nowhere else to go. And all I had to do, I had to secretly house this lady until she got on her feet.
Yeah, but
I mean,
you
I
need to
can't
bear
make
some
them,
responsibility on who's.
I can't make the dad be there, because I don't care if the dad live outside. I care about the women and the kids. I care about the woman who's taking care of these kids. I don't care about the man.
So we're not here to cast blame or cast aspersions on anything. But here's the point: the city of LaGrange is doing everything that it can do to address these issues. In
Yes, sir.
fact, I think the city of LaGrange is probably doing a lot more than most cities are to address these issues. But there is a fundamental limit to what the city can do. The city can only do work on publicly owned property. So if, for example, Mr. Merriweather wanted to donate the houses to the city of LaGrange, ownership, then the city could improve them, right? But the city cannot go on Mr. Merriweather's property and use city money to improve private property. That is a hard and fast rule. All 537 cities in Georgia have the same exact rule. We cannot spend city money on private property. It's
Yes,
very,
sir.
very simple.
I understand that. So that's why I came here with this, because that's why I was saying that. But the city is spending money to pay the people that they're what you call bidding this property to tear it down, and then putting a lien on the property. So it seems like you're taking the property in a way. So why not fix it and do the?
Well, but you can't. You can't fix it. What you can do is you can demolish it because it's an unsafe structure.
Okay.
But there's a conflict. A year ago we had this conversation as it related to Tall Pines.
Yes.
And
yes.
Tall Pines was in deplorable conditions.
That's right.
And the city council was concerned about that, and there was discussion about doing a demolishing or asking the court to demolish Tall Pines and displacing 110 families. Well, you see, you've got this balancing act here. You always have this balancing act here. What ended up happening in that case was the Tall Pines owner came in and fixed up the properties. That's what should happen, is the private property owner, when they realize that there is a threat of demolition or there is a threat of condemnation, the private property owner should come in and fix up the property. That's the way this process has to work. It sounds like this case that you're talking about has been going on for almost 2 years, since the initial January 2019 issue. So that's plenty of time for someone to take an action. But if you disagree with what the city court has done by ordering the demolition order, this is not the right forum to discuss that. The right forum to discuss that is through the court system. Okay. The mayor and city council, I've been mayor for 7 years, city council for 4. It's 11 years. We have never, as the mayor and council, talked about whether or not to demolish a particular house. That's always handled through the court system. That's where the issue needs to go. Yeah.
But it's the city that's taking it to court. So that's why I came to the mayor and city council about it, because I feel like that we shouldn't be tearing down the houses. I feel like that we should be fixing the houses, because if we don't have any houses, no one gonna have nowhere to live.
Right.
And it's and it seems like it's in the poor African American neighborhood. So that's why I came to the city, because the city is making the decision to take it to court. Not when it's get to court. Now, I was late in the game on that. But what I'm saying is, from this day forward, you know what I'm saying, I'm asking the city, since the city's taking it to court, could we do something else better? Because we need women and kids housed.
Right.
That's what I'm asking. I do understand that part of the game about if we go
Sure.
to court, I can do the court procedure. But I'm saying before it get to the court thing, we need more than one person going in there inspecting those houses. Because I believe this one person is having this cocky attitude because he has a position. Because there's nothing wrong with these houses. That's what I'm asking the city to do.
Well, the staff has heard the concerns, so we appreciate you sharing them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, we move on to petitions and communications. We have a Board of Planning and Zoning Appeals recommendation on a request to annex and zone property located at 71 Bush Drive.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I bring to you a recommendation this evening from the Board of Planning and Zoning Appeals to annex and rezone property located at 71 Bush Drive, with the recommended zoning classification being general industrial. The general industrial zoning designation is consistent with the character area map as contained in our comprehensive plan, and is also consistent with our current zoning map. The parcels immediately adjacent to the subject property on Bush Drive are all zoned general industrial. The contiguous properties that make this annexation request possible are located on Maddox Court. On November the 18th, 2020, a letter was received from the county planner, Ms. Erin Johnson, which indicated that the Troup County Board of Commissioners has no objection to this annexation. If it is your pleasure, it is requested that a public hearing be scheduled for Tuesday, January the 12th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m.
Motion to schedule?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to call for public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. That passes unanimously. Do any council members have anything to report tonight?
I do, Mr. Mayor. I know that we have this second reading that's going to come up tonight. I've been contacted by some constituents in the area, and I wanted them to, they are here tonight. I know people from Raglan Street, people from Tucker Cottages are here, and I know that we had the public hearing last meeting, but I just wanted to make sure that that they knew that we were acknowledging them while they were here tonight. So I just want to let you know that they're here.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Edmondson. Any other council members have anything to report?
Yeah, I just want to report that it's been an absolute pleasure serving with you guys this year. It's been one heck of a year, and I'm glad to see all of us made it through healthy, and we're still here, still kicking it, and I look forward to spending another 12 months with you guys. All of you are fantastic, you're attentive, and you genuinely care about this community. So I thank each and every one of you for your service, and let's keep the city moving forward.
Thank you, Councilman Gaskin. Anyone else? Okay. City Manager report, Ms. Kelsey.
I just have one tonight, Mayor. At work session, Chief Deckmore and Lieutenant Strickland came to us with a proposal for new cameras, 50 cameras to cover 15 intersections. This would require a budget adjustment. Staff would recommend to move forward with this. The budget adjustment would be to increase those funds to $185,000 to cover the software cost and the cost for the cameras.
Move to approve.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any discussion?
Just one question is, was there an amount already set aside in the
We
budget?
had $60,000 set aside, so
Okay.
we do
Thank you.
have some funds to cover this cost.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. That passes unanimously. We will move on to, anything else, Ms. Kelsey?
No, sir, that's it.
We'll move on to first readings. I have an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance to exempt restaurants and special event centers within the C2 and C3 zoning districts from the durational restrictions for portable concession stands and to modify durational restrictions as to all portable concession stands.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city to amend the zoning ordinance of the city so as to exempt restaurants and special event centers within the C2 and C3 zoning districts from the durational restrictions for portable concession stands, to modify durational restrictions as to all portable concession stands, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to fix an effective date, and for other purposes.
And I also have a first reading of an ordinance to amend the sign ordinance to remove window area restrictions for ground floor windows of vacant buildings within the C2 district.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city to amend the sign ordinance so as to remove window area restrictions for ground floor windows of vacant buildings within the C2 district, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to fix an effective date, and for other purposes.
And so we'll move on to second reading of ordinances. I have an ordinance rezoning property located on Jordan's Way and Aaron Drive.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of LaGrange to amend the code of the city, to amend the zoning map and ordinances of the city so as to reclassify the use zone of real estate located on Jordan's Way and Aaron Drive and owned by West Georgia Star, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to fix an effective date, and for other purposes.
Is there a motion?
I wonder, Dr. Edmondson,
Well, I was going to see in discussion if we wanted to open the floor, but I need a motion on the floor before we have discussion.
Can we make a motion just to open it for discussion?
move we approve.
Okay, he made the motion to approve,
Okay.
so I retract my motion.
You asked a question, could we make a
Yeah,
motion?
well,
So
I retract my question,
yeah,
sorry.
so I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second to approve. So now for discussion, does the council, yes, we had the public hearing 2 weeks ago, and nobody showed up for the public hearing, so there was no comment, pro or con for it. I don't want to have a full public hearing, but if there are people in council chambers who would like to speak to this, I would entertain very brief comments. If there's anybody who would like to speak for or against the motion, and then I'll see what the council discussion has. Does anybody want to speak? You don't have to, so just, yes ma'am, if you'd come forward and,
I do have a question.
yes,
You remember that laminated piece of paper?
yes.
Are we supposed to have that now?
We had it at the work session. it would probably help in the future to have, but just,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Stargell. I'm a resident of LaGrange. I've lived here all my life. Currently, I'm a resident of Tucker Cottage. And the residents were not aware of the meeting, and that's why no one came to discuss anything or to voice an opinion. The newspaper article that was printed did give us information about what was going on. And I have been in touch with a number of residents at Tucker Cottages about the rezoning of Raglan. You said brief comments.
Yes,
So,
please.
to get to the bottom line, to my point, I do not agree with, and many of the residents do not agree with, the rezoning of Raglan. It is a street, it is a neighborhood, a long-established neighborhood, a proud neighborhood, and it's and we don't want to see it rezoned for the purpose of building apartments. The apartments that are being looked at being built are adjacent to where we live, and we are not in favor of families with children. That is, that's what a family is, with children, coming in on the property, directly adjacent to our property. The other idea is that if duplexes or apartments are going to be built, why not house seniors? Tucker Cottage is already there, housing seniors. Many seniors in Troup County and LaGrange need housing. Our community is quiet, it's decent, it's safe, we love it, and we would love to see additional neighbors there. Those who would be seniors, not families with children. We know that the neighborhood will change. It will change considerably if families come in with children. The residents will not stay. We intend to stay. We moved into the cottages hoping to stay there perhaps until we're called home. Families will not do that. The properties are a number of years old where we are, and they still look very nice. We are still very proud of them, and we feel that that will change. And I don't know what that will do. I don't know what the rezoning will do as far as the property value of the houses that are on Raglan, that have been on Raglan for, 30 years or more? But that would be a concern for me if I was a property owner. So there are other things that I would say, but you asked me to be brief, and so those are the bottom lines.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments, Ms. Stark.
Can I ask her a question?
Sure, yeah.
I'm Councilman Nathan Gaskin. I just want to ask you one question. Did anybody contact you from the Housing Authority or from STAR?
No.
Have any of the residents over there that you know have been contacted by them?
I spent hours yesterday walking from door to door, knocking on doors of residents at Tucker Cottage. And everyone that I spoke to said they were not aware of the intent to build apartments on that property. There are 2 houses already on the property. We were thinking that that kind of development would continue. Because, if a person is buying a home, their pride in maintaining a home is going to be different than the person renting.
Right.
We were not aware. No one that I spoke to was aware that the plans had changed and that apartments were being looked at.
Well, and just to clarify, I mean, I think, and I can get Alton to explain the details of this, just to clarify, the owner of the property could build rental houses that look just like Tucker Cottages. They could build those today and rent them out to families with children. What's being requested is to allow a zoning change to build duplexes in lieu of single-family homes. That's the only issue that's on the table, is whether it's going to be single-family homes for families with children that would be rental versus duplexes for families with children that would be rentals. I want you to understand what the council's decision is. The decision point here is not whether to allow the builder to move forward or not whether to be seniors or families or not whether to be rental or homeowners or not. Those are not issues that the mayor and council have any authority over. The only issue on the table is whether to allow replicas of Tucker Cottages, i.e. single-family houses close together versus duplexes. Okay. That's the only issue that that the council has any authority over. I just wanted to clarify for the record. And Alton, do you want anything you'd like to add to that, or is that? Okay. So we don't have any authority over the rental or owner. We don't have any authority over the seniors or the families with children. That's not something we can regulate. All we can regulate is detached or duplex.
Okay,
So,
and I thank you for that clarification.
yeah, I just want to make sure you understood what the council was voting on.
Okay, and I would like to come back at a different time then, so if not here, someplace else to discuss these particular matters.
Okay.
But then the issue of rezoning Raglan, I think, is also something that I won't speak to, but I think it should be revisited. I mean, it's an established neighborhood. Why rezone it?
Okay.
Were we discussing rezoning the whole street?
No, just the property that the Housing Authority, or
Okay.
West Georgia Star, I should say, owns. Yeah. Anyone else want to speak to this? Very briefly.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
My name is Charles Fry, and I'm here
I'm in total 100% agreement with Miss Diane there. We are from Tucker Cottage, and I just want to on the record that we people of Tucker Cottage, we do agree on what she is saying about the housing and the kids. And I just want that on record that we agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Sam Cameron, and I live on Raglan Street. I've been there for the last 42 years, and I am concerned about rezoning Raglan because then it opens, not Raglan, but rezoning the area at Tucker College, because then it opens up an opportunity for anybody to come in and build anything. Because that had been rezoned, just like they did when they did the apartments behind us. Of course, we didn't have any knowledge of them doing so. But in the years that those apartments have been there, the area has really gone to pot, to be honest with you. I mean, that's...
Let me just clarify, what apartments are you talking about?
The ones that are Haley Way and, is that Marywood down at the other end? The ones behind... They go in behind.
So you're talking about Cross Creek?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, I almost hit, and it wasn't a kid, this was a man. I was turning into my driveway, and they came down the street on a dirt bike. Of course, they do it all the time. But my concern is for the elderly, which is myself as well, in that area. You know, it's all times of night. We hear loud music. We hear cars just spinning tires, and the people there, that most people in that area have been there for 35, 40 years. So my concern is for the residents that are already there.
Appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
Yep. Does anyone from the applicant want to address any of the issues, or you don't have to? I just was maybe just share with the council what your intentions are.
We all have good intentions. Good evening, council. My name is Ernest Pickett. I'm a construction project director for LaGrange Housing Authority. This project has been out there since almost May of this year. We've had continuous meetings with the communities around this area, trying to get their input, their say-so that we know what to do over there, what we'd like to do. We've expressed all of these ideas, all of these different platforms in which we'd like to grow the area. Now, we could do houses and still do the same process, whether it's a house or a duplex. We still do what we want. As far as how we want to rent it, who's going to house it. Now,
if you will, Ernest, just address it to the council. I know,
I'm sorry, but I mean, I spent numerous hours trying to conduct these meetings to make sure that we get the right input, get the right people at the table, get their concerns so that we could address all of these things. We're not going to take this area and change it or impoverize. That's not what we do. The first two houses that are over there, these hands put those houses together. I built them. So we want to stay with that same platform. We're not trying to go down, we're trying to go up. As far as for Cross Creek, it's been there since I was a little boy. We had nothing to do with that. But what we're trying to put in the area now is housing. Housing for working class people. So these people already are looking to improve their lives. So we just want to be a stepping stone for that. And that's about all I got to say.
Any questions?
Only thing I want to say is, if it's approved for those to be put over there, if Mrs. Hurd would be sensitive to Tucker Cottage residents, because they are retired. A lot of them have sold their homes and moved in Tucker Cottages because they wanted to have something quiet and a retirement community. So if she would be just sensitive, I know she can't just say, well, I'm going to have this one and not this one, but just sensitive to the community, to put, if you know, I know she has to put other people from the housing authority. If she maybe put some elderly people there in those homes,
Well, these homes, like I said,
Are those duplexes, rather?
Not to cut you off, Dr. Epperson, I appreciate your input, but like I said before, these are working class people. They're looking to have somewhere nice, safe, clean for their families. These are only 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. So we're not putting government assisted housing or whatever. These will have to be working class people.
Okay.
So these families are trying to put themselves together. As you say, we are a stepping stone for people trying to move on to the next level. And that's all we're trying to provide here. Nice homes, same platform. We're the first 2 homes are kind of on a shaker style. These apartments will be that same platform. They're gonna look identical to the houses. They'll just be duplexes.
Not at the moment. I'm coming to Councilman Gaskin.
I appreciate you, explaining the situation. I just think moving forward in the future, I would like to see a more robust communication platform with some of the community. And I know you've had meetings and who's who and what of the community, I understand that. But the people who I serve are these folks right here. And if they have a concern, I have a concern. And if they don't know, I don't know. Now, I understand that Jordan Way is Jordan Way. And I know that complex quite well. And it has multiple entrances. There's one from Raglan Street, and there's one from
Colquitt Street.
Cross Creek. Colquitt. I'm sorry, Colquitt. So it's got multiple entrance points, which would allow you not to see Jordan Way. Okay? And so they wouldn't see that notification. And I understand that it was well within legal guidelines, but sometimes when you're dealing with, folks who are sensitive about where they live, you need to go above and above.
We did.
And
we hand-delivered letters to each of them, to each of the houses, the homeowners.
So these folks, all these folks received letters?
They received letters.
Okay.
Now, whether they came or not, that was on their part. But we hand-delivered letters.
Okay, so you delivered letters about them being duplexes?
We hand-delivered letters for a meeting to discuss.
Because right now, what we're voting on, what we're getting ready to vote on is whether they should be single dwelling units or duplexes. Because the ordinance is asking us to change it to duplexes. Am I correct? Am I mistaken?
Right.
So right now, they're already zoned for single. So what you communicated to them, did you communicate a single dwelling or did you communicate a duplex?
We communicated a duplex. We showed them drawings. We had them. We showed drawings.
Before this.
Yes.
Before we
met here, our due diligence was to get the community input. We just didn't want to drop something on it. We're not Dash. We didn't do that kind of stuff.
No.
We didn't do none of that.
I would like to see a copy of this letter. If you're saying that you communicated to them duplexes, I would like to see a copy of that letter. Because if that is the case, then what you're saying is you already wanted it zoned duplexes, but you never applied for the zone. It never came before this council before
We
now.
had the meetings before we applied. We wanted to know what we want, what the community was willing to, give them a input, give them a say so. We just didn't drop nothing on nobody. We wanted their feedback. We asked for their feedback.
Okay, so let me get this. Maybe I'm missing the point here. Maybe I'm thick-headed. You were telling them what you were going to do?
We had meetings,
asking them what they wanted to do?
No. We had meetings to explain this is what we'd like to do. Now, whether we want to make some changes to it, that's up to you all. But we was trying to explain to them and let them know we wanting to do this over here. We need y'all's input. We need y'all's either you with us or against us. Or
you're sort of having listening sessions to gain input before you made your application going forward. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Dr. Edmondson, did you receive a copy of this letter?
I don't live there.
I mean, but as a council member, did you receive a copy of this letter?
No, the first time I heard it was when it came before the council.
Okay.
I had someone to call me. That's why I brought it before the council. Had someone to call me, and they was expressing their concern.
But just to clarify, none of that's required.
No, I'm not
None of that's
saying-
required.
I'm
None
not
of that's,
saying
that's
any
all
of it's required. That's-
voluntary, yeah.
You know, I'm in a very, sticky situation because I just had a young man up here talking about we don't have enough housing. And now I understand you want to grow the area, but then I've got these folks saying that I don't want that kind of growth in my area. So I want people to understand the complexity of the situation. And as an elected official, any and all help I can get in explaining your position will be appreciated.
Okay.
Now, that's the councilman in me saying that. Now here's the citizen in me saying that. There is a lot of time being spent on Facebook and other media outlets talking about nothing. If you want to communicate with these people, communicate with them so that they clearly and concisely understand what is going on in their community. Okay? So that's why I said moving forward, I'm looking for a more robust. In other words, let's lay aside the childish things and get down with the business of communication. I got people over there at your agency with master's degrees, okay? I don't want citizens in this community not to know what's going on. I don't even want them to have a position where they can claim they don't know what's going on. Okay?
I don't.
I mean, it seems like you're saying that we didn't give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm just getting down to what's what. I need people to be on their A game.
I think, like I said, it's not a public hearing. The public hearing was 2 weeks ago. I think we've heard enough. I think we know what the issues are, the concerns of the neighbors. I think we know what the position of the Housing Authority is. So I appreciate it, Ernest. And then I'm gonna see if the council members have anything they want to say towards each other in the way of discussion before we call for a vote.
I have nothing to say. I just applaud the community for coming out, and I applaud the Housing Authority for doing a wonderful job of trying to have homes for people.
We just.
I would
Yeah.
like to hear that one question from this lady right here.
You know what, we never got a letter saying we gonna have a meeting, because if we had a meeting, we wouldn't be here like we are now. We never got a letter.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest. Appreciate your.
And can I say something else, and I'm done? If you're gonna build some nice homes, like you got those 2 homes that's over there, that's fine, but don't go with the duplex. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to the council, I'm just making a statement.
No, this is a good discussion. What is your idea of a duplex?
The reason for
2 stories?
Yes, yeah.
Are these gonna be 2 stories?
No, single level.
So they're gonna be, it's gonna be a flat?
I don't even know that it's a duplex. I'm looking at it.
So, and let me just clarify this for the record. As I understand it, the distinction between Tucker Cottages and what y'all are proposing is this. Tucker Cottages, the houses are 5 feet apart. They're single-family houses 5 feet apart. What you're talking about building is almost identical to that, except 2 of them will share a wall.
They'll share a joining wall.
Is that essentially the
20 feet in between them. So they'll look like standalone homes. That's the concept. Keep it looking the same. You won't even know it.
But technically, it requires a rezoning, because right now you're zoned R5, which allows Tucker Cottages, but you want to go to R2,
Yes, sir.
which would be the duplexes.
Yes, sir.
That's the only thing the council is deciding.
So,
Yeah.
you're not going up.
We have a meeting. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. But why did we not have a meeting? We never got a letter, and we've been there all the time.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we're gonna. Okay, so y'all are gonna have to talk about that after the fact. Yeah, because we're now at this
We're gonna
point.
move forward.
At this point, I'm gonna see if the council members have anything they would like to discuss prior to me calling for the vote.
No.
I had a question for Dr. Edmondson. Was there any other
If I
substantial?
can get, the council is discussing this now. Okay, Dr. Gore.
Thank you. Was there any additional information, Dr. Edmondson, that you received communication about that you would like to add to the comments that have already been made?
No additional information other than what they brought up tonight, and I just wanted to make sure that they were aware of what was going on. And when they called me, I told them what I knew, and I said that there was no one to oppose it at the last meeting that we had. No one came to oppose the development, and so that's why they're here tonight, because I spoke with Mrs. Stargell, and she corralled everybody else around. But other than that, and I speak for my people, and that's District 2 people, and that's my district, and I speak for them, and I try to do what they want me to do.
Thank you.
Okay, so any more discussion? Council members do have the rezoning considerations, the laminated rezoning considerations in front of you now. I have if I recall correctly, I have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning ordinance. So if there is no more discussion, I will ask for all of those in favor of the motion to approve to uplift the right hand. Okay, and then all of those opposed to uplift the right hand.
Abstention.
And I have, so I have 3 in favor, 1 abstention,
And I'm
Council.
still deciding. I'm like at a restaurant deciding what I want to eat. Jesus.
Time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence, right? Before I want to clarify my decision, before I raise my hand.
That's fine.
Okay?
That's fine.
I want to clarify. Yes, ma'am. I want to clarify my decision. It's like I said, I'm in between a rock and a hard place. We've got a lot of homeless people, and something needs to be done to mitigate the housing shortage that we have. So, more housed families is a good thing. I understand the quality of life that you want to maintain. But if it was your loved one that didn't have a place to stay, what would you do? So with that being said, I'm going to vote to approve,
Okay.
and I'll raise my right hand.
Okay, so just for the record, I have Councilman Gaskin, Gore, Mitchell, and Arrington voting yes to approve the ordinance. Dr. Edmondson abstaining. And so, yes, to answer your question, only the council members get to vote. The mayor doesn't get to vote. I don't get a vote, and nor do the audience. So the rezoning will pass by a vote of 4-0 with 1 abstention.
Further discussion? Real quick.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. Please don't be a stranger to these meetings. There's a lot of good information that goes on here, and I need to hear from folks like y'all in making these decisions, because they impact your lives. And I don't want people to feel like they're not welcome here. Everybody is welcome here. Come one, come all. And Merry Christmas to all of you.
When do you have your meeting?
Every second and fourth Tuesday of the month.
At 5:30 in this room.
I
want to add one thing too.
I don't want something I want to add. You were talking about the homeless. I understand there's a lot of homeless people now. Okay. Yeah. But you're talking about building, duplex, whatever you talking about building. Homeless people can't buy and have them can't rent. So that's another level. Which don't include us.
I'm not gonna, I understand what you're saying.
Thank you for the comment.
I just wanted to say that I heard what y'all were saying, and that I didn't take it lightly. I wanted you to know that.
Okay. Ernest, because I love your daughter, I will let you make a final comment.
Well, I'm just concerned as a board member of LaGrange Housing Authority.
Will you come to the podium so we can get it for the video record?
Yeah.
And I appreciate your service on the board of the Housing Authority.
Yes, and I'm concerned because as a board member, did we meet the obligations? Did the Housing Authority pass all the expectations through your office?
Yes. Yes, thank you for the question, Mr. Mayor and Council. When this rezoning petition came before us, or before me, I immediately, having had history of other rezonings that could be sometimes contentious, I reached out to the applicant and told him, make sure that you reach out to the Raglan Street community, the Tucker Cottage community, and the surrounding community to make them aware of what your intentions are. Which I articulated.
And let me just clarify, that's not a legal requirement of the rezoning process.
Right.
That is Mr. West, from years of experience, suggesting that this is a good practice
Yes.
to employ, but that is not a requirement of Georgia law or city ordinance.
Right.
So that's a CYA code, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
CYA.
Oh,
CYA
yeah,
code.
absolutely. So,
But-
yes, to answer your question, yes, I articulated that to them and I asked them, and then too, of course, we post signs on the property, of course, over near the Ragland, on the property that is actually going to be rezoned. To bring comment to your question about the other entry off of Culprit Street, the property is not there on Culprit Street, it's off of Ragland Street, is the reason why the signs are placed on actual Ragland Street near the Jordan and also the Aaron Way. So yes, to answer your question, they met all requirements as far as application, fees, everything that we require to bring it before the Board of Planning and Zoning to have a recommendation to be made over to the mayor and council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, Ernest?
It does.
Yeah, okay.
And I just, if we didn't drop the ball, I don't want to be made look like we dropped the ball. And some of the comments that was made was insinuating that we dropped the ball. And we take pride in doing what we do. And those guys take a lot of pride in the work that they do. And they want to make sure that they communicate. Not only did they even, anytime you're going to make a proposal, you want to have an example of what it is that you want to be able to present. And they had a replica of what they was going to present so that the people could see it. You know, I got a chance to see it. And until they told me, I didn't know it was a duplex. Because they're so concerned about, and that's what they're concerned. We don't want to bring down, when we go over there, we want to add to, not bring it down. And so I just want to let that be known.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment to what you said as you walk away. If I hurt anybody's professional feelings, I apologize. It is not my intent to scoff at the hard work that people do. But what is required of us in this day and age is that we do our absolute best. Our people deserve the absolute best at all times. So professionally, I'm sorry. But personally, it is what it is. I serve as a council member an underserved community. Now, understand that word, underserved. That means that if you serve this community, you give your A game every day, every day. That's what I want. And that's what I'm going to get.
Thank you, Councilman Gaskin. So, no, ma'am, we're done with this conversation. Y'all can discuss this after the fact, but we've beaten this one to death and it has passed. Is there any other business that needs to come before the council tonight? Okay. I'm going to ask Ms. Van Shore if she'll close.
I'll make it short and sweet. Good news for tonight, we had a holiday decorating contest, great hit. It fostered team building and holiday spirit, and we just wanted to show you this video as we break with Christmas coming up this week.
Merry Christmas!
Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from all the employees at City Hall and a very happy holiday.
Merry Christmas from City Hall. Merry Christmas from accounting.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from us to you.
Merry Christmas from City Hall.
Happy holidays from the LaGrange Police Department.
Merry Christmas from LGTV. Merry Christmas from Whoville. Happy holidays from the city of LaGrange.
Great job, Katie, and to the guys as well from the LGTV staff. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas, and maybe in a way more sincerely than we have ever meant it before, a Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's right.
We stand adjourned.